Hi, my name is Alex, and this is a quick run through of a quiz from Gbrainy. It's open source software, so you're able to download it yourself and play. And I'll start with the verbal analogies only. I have modified it a little bit to make the font a little bit bigger and make it easy to read on the screen. So, which of the following sports does not belong in this group? We've got four answers: A, B, C, or D. So, golf, cycling, basketball, and tennis. So, all four of those sports. Cycling can be individual, basketball's a team sport, tennis can be a team sport and individual, but all of them use balls, except for cycling, which doesn't use a ball. So I'll click that one. So congratulations, the answer's B. It's the only one that doesn't use a ball in the game. All right, next question. Given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to monkey? So fish and aquarium. The fish lives in an aquarium. So for a monkey, where would it live? And I'm going to say it lives in cage. Congratulations. The possible correct answers are cage, zoo, zoological garden. A fish in an aquarium lives in captivity. Given the relationship between the below two words, which word has the same relationship to ornithology? Horticulture and plants. Insects, fishes, birds, and amphibians. So, ornithology. I'm not too sure about this one, but I'm going to go with insects. Correct answer is C for birds. Okay. Which of the following words doesn't belong in this group? Proverb, satire, concert, and epigram. Just going to check some settings behind the scenes. All right. Proverb, satire, concert, and epigram. I think a concert's a thing, whereas a proverb is a saying and satire is a description of it. I think an epigram's the same. C is the only one that's not related to literature. Okay. Given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to diameter? Circle, semicircle. Okay, so a circle and semicircle is half a diameter. Sorry, semicircle is half a circle. So a diameter, half a diameter. The diameter is the length from the longest length from across a circle. So from one side of the circle all the way to the other, not just cutting a sector of it. So a tangent comes off a line, an angle, a chord. These are all mathematical words. But a radius is the line from the middle of a circle to the outside of the circle. So I'm going to go with that one. The radius of a circle is half the diameter. Okay. Given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to vinegar? Sugar and sweet. So vinegar, I'm going to call sour. It's, you wouldn't want to drink a whole lot of vinegar. It just doesn't taste right. Put it on some chips with a little bit of salt and vinegar. That would, yeah. Given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to longitude? Parallel and meridian, solstice, latitude, pole, and azimuth. So solstice is to do with the days of the year, not around calendars, but there's a winter solstice where it's the shortest day of the year, and there's a summer solstice of the longest day of the year, with as much and as little sunlight as respectively. Latitude is the another form of the grid system where if you have a latitude and a longitude of a spot, you can stipulate any place on Earth. Pole is at the North Pole and Southern Pole, very ends of it. And azimuth is how high something is. I'm going to go with latitude, but I'm not sure. Parallel and longitude traverse from east to west, while meridian and latitude traverse from north to south. Okay. Given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to rum? Wine and grape. So grapes are used to make wine, but I don't know exactly what's used to make rum. But I'm willing to make a good guess. We've got the options of grain, potato, sweet corn, and sugarcane. So grain, I think, is whiskey. Potato, I believe, makes vodka. Sweet corn, I don't know about. And I'm going with its sugarcane because with rum, what comes to mind is Bundaberg, and I believe there's a lot of sugarcane grown in that area. And that's right. Given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to wolf? Dog, tame. So wolf is a dog that it's a type of dog that lives out in the wild. So I'm going to go with that. So possible answers were wild and savage. Okay. Which of the following words does not belong in this group? Choose one of the following. Plate, bowl, amphora, and fossil. So I don't have an option there for a tip. So plate, bowl, and bottle all appear on, you can have them all on the table. I don't know what an amphora is. Incorrect answer. The correct answer is A, the only one not used to storage of liquids. Okay. So, which of the following words does not belong in this group? Flute, soon, violin, and an oboe. I believe I know the answer. So a violin is played with two hands. It's like a guitar where you run it. I don't know what the right word for it is. It gets run backwards and forth along the strings to make the vibrations. An oboe, I believe the answer is going to be violin, where a flute, bassoon, and oboe, I believe, are all played with the mouth. So you blow into them for them to work. So which of the following words is closer to the meaning of grief? So lament, risk, intolerance, and fraud. Going with lament. Risk, intolerance, and fraud, wouldn't call them direct meanings, whereas grief, you're extremely sad. So, lament. Given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to tool? So, for a toy, you play with it. It's your doing word associated with it. And for a tool, I'm going if we build something. So, yes, work, yeah. And not necessarily building something with a tool. You might be demolishing a house. That I thought you'd be going with the tool to. Anyway. Which of the following sentences defines better an ostracized person? So, someone is ostracized. There's a group that doesn't like them, and they're not friends with. So, a connoisseur, a person expelled from society, a loner, and a conspirator. Someone conspirating as part of a group. Someone who's a loner isn't part of the group, but it's sort of their choice not to be part of it. But a person expelled from society is sounding right to me. And a connoisseur could be someone of fine taste. So a connoisseur might like many wines and cheeses, and so I'm going with B, a person. And given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to tornado? So for a whirlpool of water, so whirlpool, there's a lot of water moving around very, very fast. In tornado, there's a lot of air moving around very, very fast as well. And wind is another option. So, all right. Which of the following words does not belong in this group? So it's granite, tree, monolith, and rock. So granite's a type of rock. Tree, I'm not sure about. Monolith, the only place I really know monolith from is I was about to say 2001: A Space Odyssey, where there was a monolith, which is a big rock floating in space, and just the general rock. So I think all of those are related to rocks, where a tree is not related to that at all, except that it grows in it. So, which of the following words does not belong into this group? Mango, onion, lychee, and olive. I'm not sure about a lychee, but I'm going with the onion because it grows in the ground, and I believe the rest of them grow a plant like an apple. Yeah. It's the only one that's not a fruit. What is a halberd? Um, I do know this one. Yeah, is it a flower, a fish, a weapon, or a sport? I've been playing quite a bit of Dungeons and Dragons, particularly in the single player mode. So it's a weapon. I believe it's a particularly long reaching weapon because I've had a few monsters hit me from a bit, no, you're not exactly close to me. And given the relationship between two words below, which word has the same relationship to page? So a letter and a word. So a letter is part of a word, and a page I'm going with as part of a book or novel. And yeah, the correct answers were book, magazine, and document. Which of the following words is closest in meaning to intrinsic? External, ambiguous, recursory, and inherent. If something is intrinsic, I think it has automatically has value to it. So a car may not have value, but if it's a gold plated car, then even if it's not useful as a car, it's still valuable as gold. So I'm going with inherent, as it has inherent value. Intrinsic means belonging to a thing by its very nature. Okay. Given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to stone? Stick and float and stone. I think this one is getting at if you throw a stick into a river, it should float. Sometimes it'll sink. But if you throw a stone into a river, it will definitely sink. So it's heavier than water. And given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to maps? Poems and anthology. So a poem's a sort of short story that sometimes rhymes. I think Slim Dusty had one, Man from Snowy River, which then turned into a feature-length movie that I highly recommend. But I'm going with an anthology is a book of poems, or a collection, and a collection of maps would be an atlas. So, all right. So, which of the following words doesn't belong into this group? Hypotenuse, cathetus, curve, and trigonometry. So I believe a hypotenuse, that has been quite a while, is the longest side of a triangle. Cathetus, I don't know, but it perhaps a resemblance to calculus. Curve and trigonometry. Well, trigonometry has to do with straight lines, so I'm going to use curve. And the correct answer is C. It's the only one not related with triangles. Okay. I'll take that as a win. Which of the following words doesn't belong in this group? Regular, rare, occasional, and exceptional. Okay, so this to do with time. And rare, occasional, and exceptional. These all happen very infrequently. Someone might be occasionally late, might be exceptional if someone else is late, and rare that someone is late. But so I'm going to go with regular. Regular seems to happen a lot more than the others. So yeah, the other words have a connotation of not occurring frequently. Given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to obsession? So, concept and idea. And choose one of the following. So, fixation, intuition, disinterest, and indifference. So, concept and an idea are fairly similar things. So, obsession and something similar. So, it could be fixation. Someone with a fixation might only be interested in playing one particular thing, so, or looking at something, doing a particular bit of work. Intuition, you might not know something is right, but you might have a understanding or a guess. So that would be intuition. Disinterest, well, if you're not interested in something, and indifference as well is a bit of a don't care, you're not two-way or another. So disinterest. So I'm going to go with fixation, because obsession and fixation seem to be very, very similar things. So yeah, the relationship between the two words is that they're synonymous, meaning the similar things. And given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to clock? Thermometer and temperature. Okay, so a thermometer measures the current temperature. So for a clock, it measures time. The first word is the instrument, and the second is what it measures. Okay. Given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to soldier? So the words of rook and chess. So chess, I'm very familiar with that. It's a board game, and a rook is one of the pieces in chess. So the soldier is part of a battle. So a soldier with a gun would be a one-to-one relationship, but a rook, there's many rooks in chess. So peace, we'd like peace. But yeah. And enemy, there's usually one enemy to soldiers. So I'm going with, if it's rook and chess, then a soldier is in battle. So given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to eat? So write and pen. You write with a pen. So for eating with something, winery, restaurant, table. Table does help, and fork is good. So you eat with the fork in your hand, same as you write with a pen in your hand. So I'm going with that one. Pen is used to write and a fork is used to eat. So given the relationship between the two words, which word has the same relationship to ballet? So tennis and sport. So I'll say tennis is part of a sport. Sorry, tennis is a sport and a ballet is a type of dance. And given the relationship between the two words, what's the same relationship to knife? So violin and orchestra. A violin is typically part of an orchestra, and which is the following. So a knife is made up of metal. It's not part of metal. It's not with wood. You can have wooden knives as well. I'd certainly say cutlery is a collective for eating utensils, and spoon, but a spoon is also a different type of cutlery. So I'm going to go with cutlery. Which word has the same relationship to banana? So for a box, to open it, and to open an item of a banana, you would peel it. So that's a specific word for doing. You wouldn't peel open a box. Which of the following words is closest to the meaning of phlegmatic, which is a bit of a tongue twister to say, phlegmatic? Choose one of the following: calm, authentic, tense, and clever. This is not one I know. Go with authentic. No, correct answer is A. So phlegmatic and calm. It's not quite a word I've come across that often. So which word has the same relationship to damage? So for error and to correct. So a mistake has been made, and then to correct is we go back and fix it. So for damage, if we to go back and fix it, like put your car into the mechanics, for after an accident, you'd repair it. And another option is fix. And given the relationship between the two words, which has the same relationship to tunnel, so a bridge and over, bridge would go over something, it goes over a river, might go over a lake, or might go over a road. The tunnel, let's say it goes under something. And possible correct answers were in, under, and through. Okay. Which of the following is closest to the meaning of a claim? Applause, conjure, commendation, and citation. So you could have a critically acclaimed film, something that's very well reviewed, a lot of people are happy, recommended. Applause, you could get a standing ovation at the end of it. Conjure, it's conjure is like creating something from. I'm going to call with commendation because a citation, military can have citations, but citation can also be by the police if you issue you a citation for failing to wear a seatbelt or something similar. So I'm going with commendation. So no, the correct answer is applause. Okay. Which of the following words doesn't belong in this group? Celebrated, incredible, famous, and claimed. These all celebrated, famous, and acclaimed seem to imply that people know about it, but incredible means it could be very good, but not well known. The other words have a meaning of distinguished. Okay. Which doesn't belong in this group? Piano, violin, organ, and accordion. Piano, all of these, the accordion, organ, and piano all have keys, whereas a violin, yeah, it doesn't. Okay, so given the relationship between the two words below, which word has the same relationship to bracelet? So for ring and finger, a ring goes on a finger, so a bracelet would go on a wrist. And the other option is arm. So, okay. And which word has the same relationship to dislike? If someone was to talk and then yell, so yelling is louder, a more intense version of it. So dislike, offensive, repugnance, ostentation, and shame. So repugnance, someone is very offended by that. The repugnant smell, if it's a repugnant smell in a place, you don't want to stay there. You want to like leave the room. And that's the one I'm going to go with. Okay. Which word has the same relationship to spinach? Orange. I'm going to say orange is part of fruit. So I'm going to go with spinach as a vegetable. And all right. Given the relationship between the two words below, which has the same relationship to toes? If you've got feet and 2, then toes, I'm going to say is 10. Which word has the same relationship to bird? So fish and submarine. So it's a man-made contraption it goes under the water as well, like a fish. A bird, airplane. Airplane, aeroplane, and plane, all different varieties depending on where you are. Which is the closest meaning of perplexing? Trivial, interesting, confusing, and ordinary. If something's perplexing, it's people can't figure out how it happened or what's happened. May not be able to know an answer. So it's a trivial problem is one that easily solved. And interesting, someone likes the look of it, and it's the opposite of boring. I'm going with confusing because ordinary, it just seems run of the mill. So perplexing is confusing. And which of the words below has the same relationship to bird? So fish in water. Choose one of the following: ship, wings, cage, and air. So fish swims in the water, and a bird lives in air or flies in air. So which of the following words doesn't belong in this group? Carbon, sodium, zinc, and titanium. I think I know what it is. Carbon is an atom, and zinc's an atom, and titanium's an atom. It's a standalone item by itself. Sodium, I believe, is made up of um, no, I could be wrong. I know someone's going to be upset. I'm not too familiar with the periodic table. I was originally thinking was sodium was salt is sodium chloride, I believe. Again, could be wrong. Zinc and titanium. All right, I'm going to go with titanium. So I'm not sure it's periodic. They might all be elements then. A is the only one that's not a metal. Okay, didn't realize sodium was a metal. Given the relationship between the two words below, which is the same relationship to suspicious? Okay, someone is pessimistic, then they think that the bad thing is going to happen all the time. The worst possible thing, the bus will be late, we won't make our connection, it's going to be rainy outside when we want to go out and sit in the sun. Whereas someone who's optimistic thinks that the good things will happen. You know, even if we're a little bit late, that's okay because the bus will be too. And so for suspicious, the total opposite of suspicious. Dubious? No, someone dubious isn't, we're not sure about them, but we think they could be on the level. Someone trusting, flexible, is willing to adjust to possible needs, and cautious. So for the opposite, I'm going to go with suspicious as trusting. Which word has the same relationship to compass? So we've got thermometer and temperature. Thermometer measures temperature, and so area, direction, position, and elevation. This is a good question. The compass is points north. It's magnetized, and points to magnetic north. And a compass, you can figure out the direction to go. It can't tell you how big an area is. It can't tell you exactly by itself where you are, and how it can't tell you how high you are, but it can certainly tell you the direction. First word is the instrument, and the second is what it measures. Which of the following words does not belong in this group? Olive, macadamia, walnut, and chestnut. I'm going to go with macadamia is a nut, and the other ones are also. So olive is not a nut. Which of the following doesn't belong in this group? Lizard, turtle, crocodile, and frog. So the turtle can go onto the land and swim. Crocodile can go onto the land and swim. Frog, and it's amphibious as well, but a lizard isn't. So I'm going to choose that. They've said the correct answer is D. It's the only one that's not a reptile and also doesn't have a tail. Okay, yep, I can see that. So given the relationship between the two words, which has the same relationship to drama? So art and gallery. To see some art, or art is usually stored in a gallery, or to go see it, you go to a gallery. For drama, theatre, concert hall, gym, and museum. Well, you'd also could see art in a museum. You might see it in a gym. You might see also drama at a gym, but I don't think you're certainly not going to gym to see a drama. I'm going with theatre. Theatre's got a stage where people will act on top of it, and another one is an amphitheatre as well, where people would act stand down the bottom. So whereas a concert hall is typically for musicians, is my take on that. Which of the following words is closest to the meaning of negligent? Angry, friendly, careless, and polite. Someone angry might be upset, like their car's been hit if they were in an accident. Friendly, might be having to make new friends. Careless, yeah, they're not doing what they should be doing, like, say, wearing a seatbelt or looking where they're driving. And polite, similar to friendlies, but so careless. Is the failure to take such care as may rightly or reasonably be expected? Which of the following words is closest to the meaning of oxymoron? So an oxymoron is two words that really shouldn't be together. And I think the common one said is military intelligence, because sometimes they don't make the smartest decisions. And the intelligence is usually wrong. Well, yeah, at least that's the trope. Related, contradictory, ironic, and synonym. So synonym is similar items. Related is also similar. Ironic? No, I don't think so, but contradictory, it's definitely contradictory. Yeah, a correct answer is B. Figure of speech that combines contradicting terms. Which word has the same relationship to poor? So pessimist and optimist, again, they're opposites. Someone homeless, yeah, that might be poor. Property, not quite. Money doesn't say anything about whether someone has a lot of it or not, whereas poor, they don't have a lot of money. Affluent, they have lots of money. They're not short of some coin. Which word has the same relationship to despotism? So thankful and ingratitude. So I've got two different things there. So despotism. So totalitarianism is someone's in charge and they want full ability to make the rules of everything. Authority, someone like a police have authority to do some things. Oligarchy. I'm just going to go with oligarchy. Yeah, oligarchy is a similar to someone's in charge. But a democracy is where people vote to figure out who is going to represent them in government. And it's the opposite of despotism. So a despot is someone who's might be ruling with an iron fist and has the military to back them up, and no one dares challenge them. And democracy is every few years, like every 3 years in Australia, that the federal government is decided by the people by a vote. Which of the following doesn't belong in this group? I think I've already answered this one. Tree. Now, this is related to rocks. So, all right, which is but has the same relationship to bird? So, seal and flippers. Seal uses flippers to move around, where bird was use wings to flap through the air. And given the relationship between the two words, what has the same relationship to wrist? Okay, so an elbow and knee. So an elbow is the joint on your arm, and a knee is the joint on your legs. So the wrist is between your fingers and your shoulder. So I'm going with your ankle. Ankle is between your feet and your knee. Which word has the same relationship to tiger? So if we're saying a leopard has spots when you look at it, I think a tiger's defining feature is that it has stripes. And one of the sayings is common sayings, not sure common, but there's a leopard doesn't change its spots. It's that people don't change. Which word has the same relationship to song? A novel and author. An author writes a novel. So for a song, I'm just going to go with a writer. Or an artist sings a song. I'll go with artist. So yeah, the possible correct answers are composer, songwriter, and lyricist. So they're the people that will make the song, and yeah, the author, not necessarily someone who performs the song. Which words don't belong in this group? Lentils, wheat, rice, and corn. So wheat, rice, and corn all are grown. So I'm going with lentils. Yeah, The correct answer is A. It's the only one which is not a cereal. Okay, so which of the following is closest in meaning to censure? So choose one of the following: condemn, obscure, hide, and ignore. So a censure is an act of sort of reprimand. We're calling them out, saying someone's done a bad thing, and we're not just going to ignore it. So ignore and hide are out. Obscure might be as obscure as making something harder to see, but a condemnation is calling something out. Which word has the same relationship to train? So car and road. Car drives on a road. So I'm going to say the train moves on tracks. And track, railway, rails, and railroad are all correct answers for that. So a person with an excessive preoccupation for his health has A, B, C, or D. Acrophobia, hypochondria, agoraphobia, and anthropophobia. Um, I think it's gonna be hypochondria. Hypo is something extra, so hypothermia and hyperthermia is hot and cold, respectively. So which word has the same relationship to balloon? So dish and break. So it might be cleaning the dishes, and if they break, if I drop it. For a balloon, you blow it up full of air, and if it were to get damaged or destroyed, it would burst. The other options are float, bounce, and roll, but those aren't damaging it. Both relate to an action that breaks the item. And which word has the same relationship to sea? So desert and oasis. So beach, island, coast, and river. So an oasis is a small, secluded, rarely found pool of water. And their animals would go to the oasis to drink in a desert. And the option in sea, a beach runs along it, a river runs to it, coast, similar to a beach, so island. An oasis is an isolated area of vegetation in the desert, and an island is a piece of isolated land that's surrounded by water. Which of the following doesn't belong in this group? Candelabra, lantern, lamp, and necklace. So that's a bit of jewelry. A lamp is one of the old-fashioned kerosene lamps would be used by miners in the tunnels. A lantern would be on a similar thing. You could say a miner's hat. And a candelabra is they can hold many candles. So all of these three things that can produce light, whereas a necklace doesn't necessarily. You could probably have one that does light up, but it's not an inherent feature of it, a necklace. Which word has the same relationship to bird? So fox and den. Fox lives in a den, and a bird lives in a nest. Which doesn't belong in the group? Gallon, a kilometer, a litre, and hectogram. So these can also be spelt a little bit differently as well, depending on the localization. So it can be LATRE and kilometer, MATRE. So a hectogram is I don't know too much about the starting point of hecto. I don't know how big that is, whether it's like a pico or milli. or deca for 10, I guess centigram for 100, or a centimeter. All of these are metric, whereas gallon's part of an imperial measurement. So it's the only unit that doesn't belong in the metric system. Given the relationship between the two words below, which is the same relationship to game. So for a puzzle, when you've done something, you've solved it, or you solve it by doing it. And for a game, you play it. And the other option was win. So which word has the same relationship to minute? Or it could be minute. No, I reckon it's going to be minute. So for an hour, minute. So an hour is bigger than a minute, and a minute I'm going with is bigger than a second. So, all right. And which word has the same relationship to photographer? So a hunter and a rifle. A hunter would use a rifle as a tool that they use, whereas a photographer they could use a tripod. Photography is what they do. So, and light, yeah, I have heard of photography described as painting with light. But a camera is the tool that they would use most often. And which word doesn't belong in the group? So rectangle, rhombus, square, and triangle. So I think I know the answer. Rectangle's got 4 sides, rhombus has 4 sides, square has 4, and triangle's only got 3. It's one that doesn't have 4 sides. So which of the following words doesn't belong in the group? Orange, apple, potato, and grape. I'm going with potato. All of the others are fruits. So potato, yeah, potato grows in the ground where apples and oranges grow off a tree and grapes grow on a vine. So which word has the same relationship to teeth? For hands that grab. Okay, so it's a doing verb of them. For the teeth to grab something, they would bite it. And grab and bite, finite actions. And what word doesn't belong in this group? Oh, this is quite a bit of medicine here. Maybe not. I think hematology has to do with blood. Paleontology, I think it has to do with either architecture or archaeology. Psychiatry is certainly to do with, I think, a study of the brain. Cardiology is the study of the circulatory system, so the heart and the blood vessels, and probably the liver, I guess. I'm not a doctor. I'm going with paleontology. It's possible it could be something like study of children or something like that. But I know that's pediatrics. Yeah, okay. B. It's the only one that's not a medical specialty. Which word has the same relationship to mustache? So eyebrow and eye. I'm going with eyebrow as above the eye, so I'm going to go with nose as above the mustache. Correct answers are lip, upper lip, and mouth. So the mustache. Yeah, okay. Mustache is on the mouth, the eyebrow is on the eye. Which of the following words is the closest meaning of specific? Generic, particular, ordinary, and obvious. I might need to go to the hardware store and get a specific screw. It might need to be a certain diameter. and big enough because we're going to be putting some things to hold it. It has to be, and it also needs to be long enough for it. So it can't just be generic. I can't say just go get any screw. I reckon particular is going to be it. Ordinary, no, and obvious. No, obvious is something that stand out. So particular, we need a particular, item for specific. So which word has the same relationship to paper? Glass and break. So if glass is broken, it's damaged and goes into many smaller pieces. Paper, I'm going to go with tear. And another option was rip. So we're going to put it into smaller pieces. Which word has the same relationship to axe? So shovel and dig. Okay, for a shovel, what you would do with it, you dig a hole. For an axe, we'd be chopping some wood. Which word means fear of people? Anthrophobia, anthropophobia, acrophobia, and hypochondria. So hypochondria is someone who's so if you draw animals like humans, a bit like Brian in Family Guy, they're anthropomorphized. So I'm going to go with that one. Anthropophobia. So the phobia is part of the word that means fear, and anthropomorphize, I think it might be. So which word has the same relation to archipelago, constellation, and stars? So a constellation is a group of stars like the Big Dipper and the Southern Cross. And if you've seen Men in Black, Orion's Belt, archipelago is made up as a group of islands. So a constellation is a group of stars, and it's a group of islands. Given the relationship, which word has the same relationship to letter? So turtle and shell. So printer, envelope, cellulose, and ink. So a turtle has a shell on its outside and is protective of it. If I'm sending someone a letter, I don't just want to send it, fold it up in case anyone could just read it. It's put in an envelope. A turtle's inside a shell and a letter is inside an envelope. Which word has the same relationship to cow? So if a tiger's a carnivore, which means that it's an animal that only eats meat, then other options are herbivore and omnivore. An omnivore eats grass or plants and meat as well, but a herbivore is an animal that only eats plants and grass. Car engine that is poorly designed and lacking of sophistication is broken, unorthodox, simplistic, or erroneous. Well, it's not necessarily broken. If it's poorly designed, it might still be working. Like it might not be able to extract the right amount of power. It might have poor compression ratios. I'm not too sure. But it's certainly, if it's poorly designed, it's just inefficient. It's not necessarily broken. Unorthodox? Well, that's possible. Unorthodox. Orthodox is, say, the generally accepted variety, but unorthodox is something designed a bit differently. Simplistic? Yeah, that could be it. And erroneous, again, is something that could be wrong. I'm rolling out A and D. Unorthodox and lacking sophistication, simplistic. I'm going with simplistic. It's not necessarily designed, yeah. It's just not made the best. Yeah. Which word has the same relationship to sweat? So tears and eyes. So tears is liquid that comes out of your eyes. So for sweat is liquid that comes out of your skin or body. There's another example. And which word has the closest to the meaning of unhappy? Tears, angry, unpleasant, and sad. If the tears, they're crying, but that's not the symptom itself. It could be reaction. They just might have been near some onions. If they're angry, there's a bit of a hot temper there. But if you're unhappy, you may not necessarily be enthusiastic in wanting to do something. Unpleasant. No, you could say food was unpleasant, but not necessarily unhappy. I'm just going to go with sad. Someone might be watching a sad movie. Which of the following is closest to the meaning asceticism? I don't know what that is. Asceticism. This is going to have to be a guess. Collectivism might be working as a group. Abstinence is something that's not happening. I think it's typically used for sex. Pain, asceticism, and positivism. Positivism. I'm going to have to guess this one. The correct answer is B. Practice as austere self-discipline in order to achieve a higher or spiritual idea. Okay. Which word has the same relationship to plane? So, guessing they mean airplane. Or it's kept in a garage. So, the plane kept in a hangar, airline, aircraft, or bunker. Well, it doesn't say it's a military car, but it could be. So, for military, you could keep a plane in a bunker if you really wanted to protect it, but typically it's a hangar. Which word has the same relationship to snort? To slurp your tongue. You might slurp some soup as you get near the bottom of the bowl and just to make something really noise. So snort, going with nose. And which doesn't belong into the group? Beet, carrot, tomato, and radish. Going with carrot. So I was going with carrot because it lives or was grown mostly in the soil. But the correct answer is tomato, as it's the only one that doesn't have roots. So yeah, I'm not too familiar with all of those vegetables, how they're grown. The word taxidermist is used to define a person that what? Works with dead animals, specializes in skin diseases, works with leather, and suffers a skin disease. A taxidermist is someone that works with dead animals. The animals can get stuffed, and someone who might be a hunter might have a prize trophy and might be the largest deer they've ever shot. So they might take it to a taxidermist and have it stuffed. Which of the following doesn't belong to this group? A pentagon, heptagon, a triangle, or cube? So a cube has 3 dimensions, and the rest of those are different sided shapes. It's the only one that's 3-dimensional. An artist whose work has become the defining style of a genre is bohemian, misunderstood, martyr, or a pioneer. I'm not too sure about bohemian when that comes straight to mind is Bohemian Rhapsody, the song by Queen. Misunderstood. Misunderstood doesn't sound right. If their work is absolutely known by it, so there might be someone who is a photographer, there might be someone who takes black and white portraits. And if there's a famous photographer who's become known for that style, then it's certainly not misunderstood. Martyr, well, to be a martyr, you have to have died, so that's not implied here, and yeah, it doesn't sound right as well. But pioneer, someone who's the first to go and do that sort of style and have it well known, certainly sounds right to me. Which word has the same relationship to anxious? Competitive and cooperative. Okay, so these are two very separate words. A competitive game, we're playing against each other, and a cooperative game, we're playing with each other. So, anxious, what's the entire opposite of that? Daring, calm, cautious, and flexible. The calm is going to have to be it. It's if someone's anxious, they're not feeling right. They might be thinking something's going to go wrong. They might think if they're on the way to the airport, they've forgotten something, or the plane's going to be late, or something just isn't going to go right. Which of the following words doesn't belong into this group? Attic, column, portico, and fossil. An attic is a room of a house up the very top near the roof. Column is, I guess, a supporting structure, but it could also be in there. Portico, I don't know what that is. So, and a fossil. So, fossil, portico, attic. I'm going to go with fossil. Fossils buried in the ground for a long period of time. An attic, it's just two very separate words, and the others, it's the only one that's not related to architecture. So, the study of buildings. Okay. What doesn't belong in this group? Crossbow, armor, shield, and helmet. So armor, shield, and helmet are all meant to protect you. So I'm going with its crossbow. Which of the following is the words is closest to the meaning of hedonism? Pleasure, pain, collectivism, and abstinence. Sorry, I'll just have a bit of a pause and grab a drink. Okay, which is the following is the closest to the meaning of hedonism? Pleasure, pain, collectivism, and abstinence. Um, Pleasure and pain, the opposite. I don't think hedonism is to do with pain. I don't think it's got to do with collectivism and abstinence as well. So I'm going to go with pleasure. The ethical doctrine holding that only what is pleasant is an intrinsic good. Okay. So which word has the same relationship to 10? So 5 and pentagon. A pentagon is a shape that has 5 sides. So 10, that's deck, like a decimal or decathlon, an event with 10 items in it. So icosagon, definitely not. Decagon, probably. Enneagram, I'm going to go with decagon. Given the relationship, which word has the same relationship to numismatics. So pediatrics and children. So a pediatrician is a doctor that specializes in children, and as the children's bodies are growing and things come through at different ages, like hormones, there's certainly study of not just a general doctor, but certainly a specialist. So a numismatics is someone that deals with, can't remember whether it's coins or numbers, but I'll go with coins. Yeah, currency and money. So someone who has got a hobby and likes that and realized that certain coins may have only been in limited circulation, or they might know a bit more about the transition to decimal currency, because at one point Australia had shillings and pennies. Which word has the same relationship to glue? So ice is slippery and glue is sticky. Which word doesn't belong into the group? A, B, C, or D? Dog, snake, leopard, and cow. Uh, all of those are carnivores, and all of these have legs. Might need a hint for this one. I'm going to go with a snake. It's the only animal that doesn't have legs and is not a mammal. Which word has the same relationship to tired? So hungry and eat. So if you are hungry, you would fix that by eating. If you're tired, you get some sleep and you shouldn't be tired anymore. But rest was another option. Which word has the same relationship to painter? So a doctor and stethoscope. A stethoscope is a tool used by a doctor, and they could listen and hear patients' heartbeats when they put the end of the stethoscope up to someone's chest. So for a painter, a tool that a painter would use is most likely going to be, painting would be the end result. A gallery, it would be where it's shown. Art is generally what it's done. But a brush is certainly what a painter would use. Which word has the same relationship to key, as in used in a lock, or button and push? So to action or invoke a button, you call the elevator, you push the button. To say, make the tap in the refill the water bottle in the park go, you push the button again to the key. You won't close it, open it. I'd say you turn. Yep, you turn the key. To make both objects work, a button needs to be pushed and a key needs to be turned inside the lock. Yep. What doesn't belong to this group? Deer, tiger, wolf, and hyena. Going with deer, as the others are all carnivores. A terrier is to a dog like a chicken is to a parrot, pony is to a horse, a dog to a cat, an ant to a vertebrate. Terrier is a type of dog. Chicken and parrot are both types of birds, but a pony is a type of horse. A dog and cats are two very separate things, and an ant vertebrate. Now I'm going with pony and horse. A dog and horse are species, and a terrier and pony are breeds. Yeah, I've definitely done, I think I've done, sure, done this one before. Which of the following sport doesn't belong in this group? Cycling, basketball, golf, and tennis. So all of them use balls, and I'm going with cycling. Okay, I think it wraps us around. So maybe it's also chooses it randomly and I've run out. But it looks like I've done all of the questions in this came as part of the default group. Yep, definitely done this one before. So monkey is same relationship to monkey. A fish lives in an aquarium and a monkey lives in a cage. And I'll wrap it up there. I'll go in the game. And outstanding results. 198 of 108 played. Time played quite a lot. Average per game, 32 seconds. So I'm not worried about doing the answers quickly, more of getting them correctly if I'm going to do a stream like this. So there are other types of games in this as well, but I'm hoping to just use verbal analogies and make other questions to help increase people's vocabulary and get them thinking, and maybe do them in lots of 20 questions and see about doing something weekly. But I don't know. I'm happy to try something new, and maybe just if you want, I can make up some questions and go through them, effectively announce it, and not try and add any personality to it. But I am also going to see if I can do questions and be more interactive and do like a live stream, have a weekly questions, and that way people can play along in real time and see how people go if that's something. But anyway, if it's something you want to see more of, then certainly leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll certainly make more of them if I get a reaction. If not, I might just add to them occasionally and work on some other things I've had on the channel. But thank you for tuning in, and I'll finish it up here.